Life Audio.
Welcome to the Crosswalk Devotional. We're so glad to have you listening. I'm Lynette Kittle, and today's topic is A God Who Hears and Listens. We'll be right back after a brief message from our sponsor.
You may only be familiar with the Salvation Army by the bells we ring at Christmas. But did you know we also produce a network of Christian shows you can listen to on your favorite podcast store or even local Christian radio station? One of our shows, Words of Life, is a weekly 15-minute show featuring powerful interviews and testimonies.
So, I sometimes call him my angel, because I just feel like the Lord put him in my life in the perfect time. When I think
engaging conversations about topics impacting the church today.
About it. And that really gets back to this fundamental question within Christian ethics. What does it mean to be made in the image of God? And I think that's one of the most important questions we can
And
get.
Deep dives into Scripture.
This divine appropriation of the Holy Spirit that God now dwells in the believer. That not only
Listen to Words of Life on your favorite podcast store or visit salvationarmyradio.org to learn about more shows produced by the Salvation Army.
Introducing the Planet Fitness, you can still join a gym in 2022 sale. Join a clean and spacious Planet Fitness today for just $1 down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime and pay nothing until January 17th. Hurry, deal ends Friday, December 30th. See Home Club for details.
A God Who Hears and Listens, written and read by Lynette Kittle. Because he turned his ear to me, I will call on him as long as I live. Psalm 116:2. Have you ever had times in your life where it seems like God isn't hearing you? It can seem pretty discouraging when we feel like our prayers aren't being heard and we aren't sensing God's presence and intervention in difficult situations. Sadly, feeling unheard often leads people to feel unloved, forgotten, and of little value to God. Yet all those feelings aren't based on truth, but rather on what we aren't seeing or experiencing happening in our lives, because God does hear us. And if we know that He hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have what we asked of Him. 1 John 5:15. Often when we feel unheard, God is at work in ways we may not see or know at the time. Romans 8:28 assures us in all situations, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. But God not only hears, He also listens, which means He pays attention and considers our words. Psalm 66:19 tells us, "But God has surely listened and has heard my prayers." God hears and listens to our voices. In my distress, I called to the Lord. I cried to my God for help. From His temple, He heard my voice. My cry came before Him, into His ears. Psalm 18:6. As believers, we have God's ear. There are countless stories in the Bible of men and women who may have felt at times that God wasn't hearing them. Individuals in situations where they really needed His ear. Some of those caught in life and death situations where there was no hope for them if He didn't hear and respond to them. Individuals like Joseph, Daniel, Paul, and more. Although we know how their stories ended, being human like us, they may have experienced a roller coaster of emotions in their circumstances. Daniel 10:2 describes some of what he went through in wondering if God was hearing him. At that time, I, Daniel, mourned for 3 weeks. Sometimes God goes to great extent to let us know He hears us, like in Daniel's situations, where He sent an angel with a message. Do not be afraid, Daniel, since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. Daniel 10:12. Even Jonah, who was running away from God's call in his life, describes how he heard Him. From inside the fish, Jonah prayed to the Lord, his God. He said, "In my distress, I called to the Lord." And he answered me, from deep in the realm of the dead, I called for help, and you listened to my cry. Jonah 2, 1-2. At the darkest, loneliest times in life, where we may even be running away from God, strayed away or turned our backs on him, he hears and listens to us. When we feel like God isn't hearing or listening to us, we can join King David's voice throughout the Psalms to help encourage us through his ongoing confidence in God hearing him. I love the Lord, for he heard my voice. He heard my cry for mercy. Psalm 116:1. The Lord has heard my cry for mercy. The Lord accepts my prayer. Psalm 6:9. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. Psalm 34:17. He fulfills the desires of those who fear him. He hears their cry and saves them. Psalm 145:19. As believers in Jesus Christ, we don't ever have to wonder if God is hearing and listening to us. As Proverbs 15:29 reminds us, the Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. Intersecting faith and life. If you've been feeling like God isn't hearing or listening to your prayers, consider how God heard and listened to individuals in the Bible. Let their stories encourage and strengthen your faith, believing you have God's ear and he hears and listens to you. Further reading, Psalm 34:6, Psalm 3:4, Psalm 69:33.
The Crosswalk Devotional is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review this podcast in your favorite podcast app so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness, you can still join a gym in 2022 sale. Join a clean and spacious Planet Fitness today for just $1 down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime and pay nothing until January 17th. Hurry, deal ends Friday, December 30th. See Home Club for details.